Hi, it's Keith here from the Evangelical Free Church, Stony Stratford. And let me first of all wish you a really happy Easter. I'm just going to read a couple of verses from the book of Hebrews, and this is Hebrews chapter 9, verses 27 and 28. Just as man is destined to die once, and after that face judgment, so Christ was sacrificed once to take away the sins of many peoples, and he will appear a second time, not to bear sin, but to bring salvation to those who are waiting for him. There's events we often remember because they really do hit us at the time. And I can remember when I was young, it was 69. I was only 9 years old. And yet I can remember the death of Brian Jones, who was the guitarist with the Rolling Stones, and had just left them. And at the time, Peter Townsend, the guitarist for The Who, said this: "I think he'll do better next time. I believe in reincarnation." They say that there's two certain things in life, death and taxes, but actually there's a third, and it's judgment. Verse 27, just as man is destined to die once, and after that to face judgment. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10, it says this: "For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that each one may receive what is due to him for the things done in the body, good or bad." That tells us what we do now matters. And the point is that we need some kind of remedy. We really do. You might think, well, okay, if we're going to be judged on the things we've done in this life, maybe if we do enough good things, that will be okay. But the trouble with that is Jesus, when he taught the Ten Commandments in what's called the Sermon on the Mount, made it very, very clear that the thought is as bad as the deed. One example he used was murder. And he says to be angry with your brother or to be angry with your neighbour, it's just as bad. You see, God is perfect. He also spoke about adultery. He says, well, you can say to yourself, I haven't cheated, I haven't on my wife or whatever. But the point is, if you're a bloke and you looked at a woman with lust in your heart, you failed. You see, this is God's perfect standards. And actually the same goes for women as well. This is a holy God, a God who is perfect, a God who is without any blemish, which is unfortunately what we have with our sin. In other words, our rebellion against God. Sin is just simply, isn't it? It's got an I in the middle. It's simply putting ourselves first at the centre of our lives and saying we're going to do our own thing. So what's the issue here? Well, there is a future. And actually, it's an encouraging one because we see, first of all, that Christ has dealt with our sin. Verse 28, so Christ was sacrificed once to take away the sins of many people. Sin has been dealt with. If we will admit that we fail, if we will come to Christ and seek forgiveness and look to start a new life with him. And secondly, here's the wonderful thing to go with that. And he will appear a second time, not to bear sin. Here's the thing, isn't it? Christ is risen. And therefore, just as it was saying in 2 Corinthians 5:10, he will return a second time to judge the world. And here's the wonderful thing. What does he do when he appears a second time? Well, he judges, doesn't he? He doesn't bear sin. We read that last part of the verse. Not to bear sin, but to bring salvation to those who are waiting for him. He's going to judge, but here's the great thing. If you have turned to him, if you said, my best is not good enough, I realise I fail. If you seek forgiveness and seek to start a new life living by God's laws, you can be saved. I like to make this example at the expense of myself. It's this. Being a pastor does not guarantee you going to heaven. My heart, my sin needs to be dealt with. Many years ago, I realised that my best was not good enough for God, and I made the decision that really I needed to put my trust in Him and let Christ bear my sin. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 21. He who was without sin became sin for us, that we might be given the righteousness of God. Do that, be truly sorry, seek to live God's way. It is the best way after all. It's following the Maker's instructions. And you can have a new life and be safe in Jesus Christ. We've been offering all this Easter a little biography of the Lord Jesus Christ. That's what the gospel really is. So you're very free to take one from the front of the church here on the railings, or if you see me about, I usually have some on me, or if you see us out on the street, we've always got some around, or give me a ring or something. Anyway, have a great Easter and think about the Lord Jesus Christ and his sacrifice for sin and the glorious thing. He rose again that we might have a new life with him. Thanks again for listening.